Streaming. Start recording. And we are live. Yo, welcome back once again, to another episode of the Feed from Geek Mountain podcast, where we talk about anime and video games in depth while also showcasing minority and disadvantaged individuals in America. Yes. Hello and welcome, and hello. Today we got Just Jakuz here.
As well don't sound so deflated.
As well as myself. I did want to start off with an apology that there's babies that do exist out in the world today. But more importantly, Jakuz had to go on vacation, and it was a little bit extended, so that's why there weren't any episodes for the last 2 weeks.
I had my stuff to record. We could have recorded later that week. It was just that drive down. My bad.
So he apologizes for his shortcomings. But otherwise, what you been watching and playing lately?
Let me actually apologize. You ain't gonna apologize for me. I'm so sorry for missing the episode. I was actually driving up to the Bay Area. And the drive took a little bit longer because I have a son now. So, we have to pull over, stop for him whenever he decides to, use the restroom. But anyways, what I've been watching and playing.
Where'd y'all go to the bush?
The bush? No, you pull over. You have to go to a rest stop. You pull over a rest stop. We would take them out, and we had rented a truck, so we just opened up the back of the truck and put down like a little mat and just change them right there when we were getting gas and stuff. But because we didn't like going into gas station bathrooms, because typically they don't have like a place to change your baby, or if they do, it's like in a women's restroom, and like some of these places look sketch. Not gonna lie. So we just prefer to change them in the car, just out of just being cautionary.
Okay.
But yeah,
I mean, that's understandable.
But yeah, normally it's a 5-hour drive, and we would have made it there in time, but we had pulled over a few times. So
damn,
like
3?
Yeah, like 3 times. And that like adds up to like an extra like 45 to an hour. But yeah.
Damn, he had 45-minute shits. He had 15-minute shits. No, that would make sense though. Did that 15? If every shit diaper changing took 15 minutes, then yeah.
Well, it doesn't take 15 minutes, but like just the whole process of like getting off and finding a place and all that. But anyways, that's not what this podcast is about. You asked me a question, I'm going to answer that question. What I've been watching and playing lately? Playing Tales of Arise. I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast before. I think we may have said something about that. But yeah, I've been playing that. I think I'm at the end game. We're at the part where, the thing that happens in all JRPGs where party gets deflated and you got to talk to everybody and, build up some morale.
And then, I got a little bit further. You got a while. I'm gonna let you know that right now. So don't be you got a while. Because someone told me the same thing. I was like, I got a while. Like, how do you mean? Like this was like the end, and they do the whole thing, and they show you like a little anime cutscene. And I was like, this is it. And then it's like, no, you still got more to do. I'm like, wait, what? What?
I was thinking the same thing.
You got a while.
I was thinking the same thing because like. One, I checked how long to beat, and the average time is like 39 hours, right? So I'm like, I'm at the 30th hour, so I'm like, I'm close. But also, I looked at the characters' levels. I'm like, bro, I'm only like level 31. I'm like, usually when you're at the end game of RPG, you're around like least like level 60, 65 or something like that. That's like typical, like traditional. I just noticed like resources are a little bit like skim in this game.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's to like drive people to the marketplace, because on PS4 there's DLC to buy. Like, you spend $2 and get 100,000 gold. And then like if you buy the DLC packs also comes with like gold in it too, and also SP, which gives you like more advantage. I'm like, are they strangle holding
I don't know,
resources to
but
drive
you
people.
don't get a lot of money in the game.
You don't,
Especially if you like go around upgrading your stuff every like
bro.
whatever, right? Every new town.
I'm at the point where I'm like,
Like,
damn, I can't buy everybody armor right now. Like,
yeah, I'm like, bro, I'm like struggling out here. I might have to use the DLC shit in a minute.
I did realize though, I was able to farm for 50,000 gold on Almedra's ship because the knights, once you get the, like the little counter up for producing more items and resources after battles,
Yeah.
I had that going on blue, and I just kept running in and out of one room and going back down while it's blue and running into enemies. And I was getting dog tags, and those dog tags sold for a lot. And I had like 40 at one point, and I sold all of them, bro. I got like 50,000 gold. And I was like, oh, I'm staying here for a sec. But then I was like, I want to keep the story going. I don't feel like farming, so I just left. And I'm like, dang, I just lost like a pretty good farming spot. But if you run into like those guards,
because you can't go back,
right?
Just thought about this shit too.
But
it's so funny.
What have you been playing?
For me, that's a good question. What have I been playing? Mostly just Final Fantasy 14. Actually, I just picked up Final Fantasy 14.
The MMO. You paying that?
I'm not gonna say the mean. No, I'm doing a free trial. It's a free trial. So
yeah, send me that link.
The link to the free trial is they give it to you.
Oh, okay.
All you gotta do is make an account and then just be like, "Do you want to buy the game?" And you just say, "No." All right, here's your free trial. That's literally it.
That's what's up.
And you can play for free, no time restrictions until level fucking 60.
And then after level 60, that's it. You gotta pay money now?
No, they just stop. You can't get to 61. You can keep playing, but that's it.
Oh, that's weird. I mean, that's cool, I guess. But if you actually want to like level past that, you have to pay. So, quick question. And I know this is a wild question, but let's say you get to level 60 and you're like, all right, I'll pay that $15 a month. And you get past that and you cut your subscription off. Can you not play that character anymore? Because it's past level 60?
No, you just can't play your whole account. That's a wrap.
Hey, you can't revert back after.
You better make a new account.
Just keep making new accounts.
I mean, you can't go past 60 though.
That's crazy. That's such a crazy concept. Well, go back into it because I was gonna branch off into like talking about how like subscription. I've never played a subscription based game before. Like WoW, I'm like that can add up. That like I can see the benefits because like if WoW is producing good or whatever MMO, WoW's the first one that comes to mind, but whatever MMO that's subscription based, if they're doing like really good expansions, then it's like worth the investment because you're like paying into like a project that they're building on.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I've never done that before. I've always been skeptical about it because I'm like, if I do this, then this is the only game I'm playing.
Yeah, it's I mean, on top of the expansions too. So the thing that makes it quote unquote worth your time is that the game and the expansions are full games in themselves. Like they have fully fleshed out stories with a lot of character development, a lot of characters, and the stories are supposedly like as long as the actual game.
Oh, that's crazy.
And they're replayable. Yeah, it's a fully fleshed out game.
All the expansions are.
So yeah, that's now with me though. Now for like a hardcore like gameplay guy, and I'm coming from a place where it's just like I don't care, but like I don't care about the story. A lot of MMOs like you don't care about the story. So that isn't really worth it for me, right?
Right. So what it is like it'll come down to gameplay.
Yeah, and it's just like the story, I'm sure it's fine, but like I want to get to the fights.
Yeah, you want to do the gameplay, and I understand that. I mean, I know that MMO stories. I've never really played MMO, but I never hear anyone saying like they're really good stories. Maybe World of Warcraft at one time had some good lore. I don't really know what people did in that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it would come down to gameplay for you.
So it's, I mean, and the gameplay is fine. It's okay.
You don't seem like you're enjoying it.
It's not like, the thing is you only get so much of it. The game is very more like, to level up, you got to do the story quest basically,
Right?
And because everything is gated behind the story. That's the problem.
So can you do a little bit of story and then like side stuff?
And there's a lot of bit of story. There's a lot. Like I said, this is a fully fleshed out game. So you probably got to do like 10 quests, 10 story quests to get to unlock something, the next thing. And it's just like, you got to walk here, walk there, fight 3 enemies. Then you got to like interact with some stuff, bring it back to a person 10 times. But lo and behold, you know what everybody says? Know what everyone says? Just keep playing. It gets better. Yeah.
Hell no, that's what everyone. Bro. That's so crazy. I mean, I feel it, bro. Like ever since I watched Katekyo Hitman Reborn, that way it gets better rule. Like it always seems like I'm just like, what if this is another Hitman Reborn? Because that's 21 episodes, man.
That was good. That was good. They need to remake that, honestly.
Yeah, and follow the manga. That'd be what's up.
Oh yeah, even just continue it.
Yeah,
that'd be. Oh my goodness.
Well, no, because then they do like an altered. Anyways. And then
so that's where I'm at in Final Fantasy. Like it's like, do I want once I get to the point where I'm finished with the story, will the game be worth it at that point? Is what I have to sit down and ask myself that question.
I mean, I guess you have to take a look at the in-game content. Well, I mean, I guess there's no in-game content because
that's a lot.
The expansions are like, oh, here's more story.
Yeah. But, that's another thing, right?
Yeah.
The expansions also have story, right?
Yeah.
And it's also the same thing. You got to do the story
before you get to the end game.
That's to get to the cool shit. Yeah. So,
I mean, it's a push.
I don't know. I think it's the way I'm saying it though. I think because people will say you're like, oh, just do the story and then you can do all the cool shit. And it's the picture that people paint it, right? I'm saying the exact same thing everybody else is saying, but it just sounds ridiculous, right? When it's coming from me, right? Where everyone else will just be like, oh yeah, it's fine. The story is great. Oh, just check your journal every once in a while.
Do you think that's because they already went through the grind of it and they're at the part where they're in the Holy Land already? So
yeah, right?
I mean, that's typically like of an MMO. Like I think my closest thing to it MMO was like Destiny. It had an MMO format. So like doing all the stories and stuff, doing the story was like, it was like cool, like whatever. I don't really care about this. I'm not gonna find out any more lore outside of this. But like once you got to like the raids and like the multiplayer, using the guns and stuff you got from the raids, that was like the best part of it. So I assume it's like that, and I guess I can understand what they're saying. But Destiny is like 5 hours to run through the campaign, so it's like that's a lot less than what you're talking about. So that's you gotta get dedicated to that because that's what you're gonna be playing.
Yeah, and then I think the other thing is that it's a Final Fantasy game, so
you don't really care about Final Fantasy.
Oh no, not that, but more like the story itself. That's why it's so story heavy, is because it's a Final Fantasy game.
Oh, so okay, I see what you're hinting at. I just thought you weren't like a big Final Fantasy guy.
Oh, so I mean, maybe that too,
the aesthetic of it just isn't,
it looks like a fine game. It looks like a fine game, honestly. But that's where we leave off. Like, it looks good. I'm sure the end game content is great.
I'm sure. I mean, I would assume it is great since people are still playing it to this day.
Yeah, people still play it. Yeah,
because didn't that come out on like PS2 or something like? I'm tripping.
it came out on PS3,
PS3. There it is.
which apparently is no longer accessible on.
Oh yeah, because Sony, they done with that. Get out of
So
here.
it's either PS4, PS5 question mark. I don't know if it's available. I don't know, whatever. But terrible segue into our main topic. It is Tokyo Revengers. Y'all read the title, everybody. Tokyo Revengers, the hottest trending manga in the summer or something like that. Pretty wild. It kind of, the anime itself just came out of nowhere, really. Like, I don't even know how I got into it. I think this was an anime I was just kind of like, oh, Tokyo Revengers, oh, it's probably gonna be another shonen with powers, people in Tokyo trying to get revenge on other people, and
I feel like that's exactly what you said.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And then I was like, I'll watch it. I'm like, hold up, okay, no powers. No superheroes? I mean, well, yeah.
Technically.
but yeah. So go ahead and give them that world-renowned summary. No, don't get on Mao. No, get off Mao.
Okay, so this is two paragraphs. No. So Tokyo Revengers follows Hanageki Takemichi, a 24-year-old essential, like, he's kind of a loser. His life didn't pan out how he wanted it to be. He's kind of a yes man and apologizes to like everything that happens to him, like no matter what. Like I remember the beginning of the show, he gets punked by some little kids and he like immediately went to like apologize to them, and they're like way younger. But essentially his goal, he one day sees on television that his girlfriend from his childhood was murdered by a very strong gang in Japan. And essentially he dies, goes back in time, and has to figure out how to save his ex-girlfriend, pretty much. That's like the most spoiler-free way I can say it. Because he's not only saving his girlfriends, he is like trying to save like other people as well. But the story like develops into that. Like you find out like, okay, because it's like time travel stuff. So it's like, they're very, very, very lenient with the time travel rules, by the way. I have to say, because he be doing a lot of stuff. Is like, yo, this could, like, there's not a more significant change.
Yeah, but I think this goes back to narrative fiction, or narrative, I guess, sci-fi fiction. Not narrative sci-fi fiction, narrative sci-fi, where it's there's only, I think, 3 or 4 different ways you can have time travel in a story, basically. So one is Doctor Who, the Doctor Who's way of time travel. I don't know. I don't watch Doctor Who. I just know that's the thing. 2 is Back to the Future. I really didn't watch too much Back to the Future.
Same. I feel like, but I know the concept of Back to the Future, and I kind of feel like it falls in line with that.
I think it falls in Back to the Future sort of thing, where you make some sort of, I don't know, you just kind of do something in the past and it basically affects the future.
Yeah, but with that, it was
differently.
Like, it was like little, I feel like it was like little things will alter the future. But I feel like in this, it's like, it's pretty big things that alter the future, like big events. Like it's always like an event. As opposed to like, oh, he went back and he went left instead of right this day. You know what I mean?
The other one is the butterfly effect, which is from the Ashton Kutcher movie, I think. Yeah. Where the tiniest thing could be a nuclear bomb, basically, in the future.
Yeah, I remember there was one scene in that movie that just essentially changed something in the past and came back to the future, and he woke up and he was like, what the fuck is this? And he didn't have hands or like arms. And it's like, what? And it was just like, he just did something different in the past with this one event, and it affected him that far into the future. But that's actually a good segue into like some of the themes of the show, right? It's like No, that's not a good segue. I'm sorry, my bad. I was about to hop into the themes.
But I was gonna say like more along the lines of the summary. Basically, yeah, it's basically a better version of a race. I think everybody can agree. Yes, you can agree.
I don't agree just because they.
Hot take.
It's not a hot take. I wouldn't say it's a better version of a race. It's just a more expanded. Like a race was like a solitary like event, right? And then you find out like, oh, this is actually tied. Like you're just trying to solve a murder, but like it's like on a smaller scale because you're not saving anyone else. They're just trying to save this one girl. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess it's true. Yeah, I guess in a way it's true.
And they're also like in like kindergarten pretty much. Like the kids are like 9 years old and 10 years old. Like whereas in this they're like, I mean they're like 14 loosely because some characters I'm like, bro, you're like you have to be 18. There's no way.
I think Takemichi and his homies are like in middle school.
Yeah, they're like 14 or 15.
They're like, yeah, they're not that old.
Yeah, for some of the stuff they be doing in the show, I'm like, because they'll say like middle school, and I'm like, middle school makes me think of like
big as hell, dude. It's
like the first bully, bro.
Suspend disbelief.
What was his name? Kiyomasa or whatever. I'm like, bro, ain't no way he's a year older. He's a 16-year-old. I'm like, stop it. I was like, there ain't no way.
There were some dudes like I feel like there were some dudes like that out there. Back when you're 16, they were just a little burly, but yeah. Yeah, they're the middle schoolers, but I don't know. I feel like you could say that because we don't have the full picture of Tokyo Revengers right now. But I feel like the story, the presentation, the characters, all the characters, how everybody's just like definitely in the spotlight, gets there at least way more than 15 seconds of fame, and they tie into the story. I say not so much his friends as much.
It's two sides of that. Not so much Hanagaki's friends, and not so much of like the other like captains of. No, I
feel like the other captains. Yeah, I feel like the other captains. They like what, the one who sews.
Like not that guy, because he gets a little bit more shine. But like Kawada, the dude with the pink hair, like he just be saying lines. He don't nothing about him.
Is he a captain? No, he's not a captain. He's like a lower division. Yeah.
Okay.
He's just a cool looking character.
Yeah, like him and that dude who has like the blue hair with the designs in it. I'm like, when do these guys talk? Or like the really tall blonde dude who kind of looks like Paya, but like with blonde hair. Like that guy. Like I'm like, when are these dudes gonna talk?
Oh yeah, I think anyone who's not a captain, yeah, like.
But they gave them such original character designs though, and I'm like,
they do though. So maybe they do get like time to shine later.
Yeah,
like that's kind of where we're at in the story. They're introducing new characters, and we're just like, ooh, y'all, this character design is
bro. Like this is not gonna have any spoilers, but like the last episode introduced like 8 new characters, and you're like,
yeah.
But it's cool, man. That's what you can do that with time travel shows, like.
Yeah, because I thought this was like a finished, like I thought this was gonna be like a 1 season type of thing, and I was gonna be like, oh, he's gonna do the thing, and then
it's a shonen, so ain't gonna be 1 season.
Ain't gonna be 1 season. But I mean that's good though. That's good. Is there anything we could say on? If you want to talk about some themes or art,
I was just going to touch on all the non-spoiler stuff. So the animation, not bad. I wouldn't say
bad.
It's not the best. It's very loose.
We do get the slideshows. We do get the slideshow PowerPoint presentations every now and then.
It's not as
that's the thing.
It's not as egregious as what is that show? Ahira no Sora. I know it's a basketball anime, but it's not as egregious as that because they do be showing some stuff sometimes. But like I like that the emphasis of the show is not fighting. Like there are some fights, and you know, like the one main battle, the Bloody Halloween.
Yeah.
And there are some other ones, but I like that that's not the whole focus of the show. Like they rather use fights to tell a story as opposed to like, oh, here's this really cool action scene. But I like the opening. I was a little mad that they didn't change it midway through. I was just expecting like a, you know, like a little cut.
Oh yeah, that would have. I was expecting that too. I'm like, damn, that would have been solid, but
Yeah, I mean, they had two different endings, which was cool. Like it was like the transition when homie is starting to become more believe in himself more and stuff like that, have more heart,
believe in himself more.
I don't want to say believe in himself more because it just sounds like Naruto, but but he's essentially like over the course of the show, he's essentially strengthening his heart because he's like changing who he is, like who he was and stuff like that. Because he gets to go back and like he gets a reality check, right? Because like in the beginning of the show, he's kind of like, oh man, I peaked in middle school, yada yada yada, and then he gets to go back to middle school literally the same day that he said that, and then he realizes like, oh shit, this wasn't that great either. And I thought that was a really good like.
It shows you how like memory is definitely fallible, and like you definitely don't have that same perception of who you were, and that's hard to realize in real life unless someone else tells you. Right. Like we could be like, oh yeah, remember that time back in high school? We were like, man, we were the shit. We was running through the hallway, dude. We was saying Naruto, Rasengan, Chidori.
But in reality, if we were to go back there now, we'd probably be like,
ooh, yeah. I had my head down. I had my books really close to me, like, ooh. Pretty much. No one's touching my manga. Ooh.
No, I feel like we definitely were like anime elitists back then, but no. Yeah, no, there's
okay, I'll lead us into
go into
I mean
some themes.
Like some themes, yeah. So what I was getting, like, definitely there's like this cycle of violence, right? Like definitely kind of goes back to Naruto in a way, right? Because it's interesting because it's almost literal. Every time it goes back to the past, there's more. It leads to more and more violence that they have to do.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely agree that that's there. What about growing as a person and also lack of growth?
Yeah, I think there's definitely like just the general struggles of teenagehood or adolescence, really. It just shows how hard it is to be who you want to be, really, or just to try to figure out what exactly is that. We see throughout the whole time, like Takemichi, every time he goes back and like when he flip flops and he goes like back, he's like doing something totally fucking weird.
Yeah, he is doing something like he's like in a weird situation. It's like, what is going on? But no, like I like that they the show, like even though it like has time travel in it, it's still very relatable. Because like we've all had those like experiences in like high school, like, you know, with like bullies and stuff like that. But yeah, I forgot what else I was gonna say. But yeah, definitely growing as a person. But
I think probably though what the anime is really trying to touch on is probably just a place of belonging, really. Trying to figure out where you fit in, I think, is where was what's most important. All these kids, they don't know, they're all badass kids. They're literally delinquents in a gang, like, but they trying to be like good delinquents, which is weird. Yeah, but they like actually they love each other. They're like homies, they're respected amongst their individuals. So this is some place where they belong. It's not something that will be like in real life, like yo, I want to join a gang.
No, but it does give you insight to like how these like gangs and stuff like work and stuff like that, because it's not them just like working together, just like, you know, like of course they're getting money and stuff like that, but like I feel like a lot of gangs is like, you know, they're close, like it's you know, or maybe not all, but I feel like, you know, from things I see like in media and stuff like that, or you know, you hear about in like songs, like you're pretty close with your with your homies if like you're in a gang and whatnot. But yeah, I guess it does give you that insight into like what it's like to be in a part of like a gang, but it's like, you know, in Japan.
Yeah, that shit sounds rough.
Yeah,
like, this shit sounds real rough,
bro. They be doing some fucked up shit to
territory. Yeah, it's bro. Like run your shit, yo, man, bro. That's a nice bike. I'm taking a whole bike. Like, damn.
Like, and then when they, bro, this came up numerous times. Whenever they're like, "Oh yeah, you about to apologize, strip naked." Like, what? They say that like a few times. Like, yo, we're gonna completely humiliate you. But yeah, and then I guess undoing the past. For Takemichi, it's literally realistically, but for other people, it can be like, you know, going to therapy and, you know, thinking back on those times and stuff like that, and having a therapy, like what you said earlier, like having someone tell you about this, and then you realize like, oh, that maybe wasn't as good as I thought it was. You know what I mean?
It's so interesting, right? Yeah. How they do time travel here.
They're very, like, I'll say they're very lenient with the rules, and I'm okay with that because a lot of times when shows have time travel, they try to like make it seem like, okay, we have to follow these rules. You know what I mean? Like they establish the rules, but then they break their own rules. So it's like
we can get into that too. We can get into that. But what do you think about the music though? Like I didn't really care too much about the openings and endings too much. I think the ending was fine. The first ending. I actually fucks with the endings were fun.
With the
you like the intro though?
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't say it's my intro of the year. My intro of the year is actually Nighthead 2041.
Oh, that's about to change. That's gonna change.
That's gonna change
once you see To Your Eternity.
Oh,
that's intro of the year right there. That's intro of the year feel. Because I was listening to it, I was like, yo, that's a bop. And I was like, yo, Hikaru's on this shit. Oh shit. Oh fuck.
It's Utada. You did tell me that a minute ago when you were watching it. It's Utada Hikaru. Like, yeah, but that might actually be a banger. Yeah,
but yeah, I was like, I'm not skipping this ever.
Yeah, music didn't really stand out to me. You know,
the anime music, inside the anime, I thought that shit was fire. Like, they had some bops in there, some odd bops in there.
I guess I wasn't really focused on it, so I'm not really like thinking back to it. But I feel like it was serviceable because I was definitely like drawn in. And that just from my recollection, just because I didn't really focus on the music too much, but it did like set up like scenes and stuff like that. Was like me and Jazz were like while we're watching this, we're very captivated in watching it and like very thirsty to go to the next episode too after something ended because this is how every episode ended. But yeah, music I didn't really pay too much attention to. Like I said, it was serviceable.
I would say go back and just listen to like anytime a drama, like just something dramatic happens, just go and watch that. Just go and just like listen because they kind of play the same song, but sometimes they change it up, and I'm like, oh, okay. But
I'm surprised that's something I didn't notice. I had to watch the first 11 episodes over.
Oh. But other than that, yeah, I think that ends the spoiler-free stuff.
Yeah.
Spoiler warning, spoiler alert. Now we're getting spoilers. If y'all have not watched it, please, I'm telling everybody to watch Tokyo Revengers. Everyone's always looking for like the next big or like just a big anime in general, and I'm like, Tokyo Revengers, Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, go watch that right now. Go watch that right now. You will be a lot better off. And stay off Boruto. Stay off Naruto, Boruto, both of them.
I disagree with you on Naruto, but Boruto definitely. Like Boruto is not. It's just not it.
We're done talking about Naruto. We're done.
We are done talking about Naruto, but if you bring it up and trash on it, I'm gonna have. I feel inclined.
No. To be like, no.
But yeah.
No. All right. So. Yep. Definitely. Let's talk about that story. Let's talk a little bit about the story.
Where do you want to start, bro?
So I do have some gripes with the anime. Unfortunately, it's not perfect. The mid-season shift where like, you know, he has to go back in time and do this whole big thing all over again, basically. Like, oh, now I gotta really fix shit.
Yeah.
Around that time, if like the climate, it was super climactic for me, and then it just like, oh, we gotta go back in time. Oh no.
Yeah, I kind of felt like
It's kind of weird
when he came out, because that was like around like episode 15 or 16. He like comes out and he's like, you know, she's alive. Naoto is like happy. You know, he goes to see
you're
her.
like, yeah,
you're like, fuck
bitch.
yeah. And like, I was trying to think like, oh, there's gonna be something wrong with this future, like where he's gonna have to go back, because I'm like, this is only the midway point. So I'm thinking like, oh, he's gonna go visit her.
I didn't really know that,
or something like that. So I was like, yeah, because you were watching it like,
as it came out.
Yeah, and I was maybe that episode wasn't as impactful for me because it was just like, for me, it was more of a, it was like a.
Because you kind of knew that was happening, that there was more to it.
I knew there was more to it, so it wasn't as shocking to me. I was just like, what did it? I was more so looking like, all right, so what's going to be the problem where he has to go back, and then you fucking see it at the end.
Yeah, I mean, the enemy is definitely dropping some hints, right? Like Hanma is really, you can tell Hanma didn't get the shine that he deserved.
Yeah,
and just like, I don't know, it just didn't seem that simple, really. I guess they were just dropping like little hints every now and then that there was a lot more to the story that meets the eye.
Yeah, especially because like, but go on.
I was pumped up. I'm like, yes,
you're like hyped, and then like it's all going well. You're like enjoying the slice of life aspect where they're like in a room
when she dies and he's there to see it.
So
that is different. That is different
for the people out there who might be listening to this portion, even though it's spoilers, bro. She dies in the most fucked up way. She's just sitting in a little Fiat, essentially waiting for him to come back. And all you see is a Hummer, and like how they set it up too is like you don't notice if you rewind the scene, you can see you can see the headlights in the rearview mirror come on, and then it goes to the next scene, and like it just shows her, and like the headlights are beaming into the car, and then it shows the car just smash into there, and right in front of homie, and you're just like, what? And in that scene with Hanma, it had me thinking like, bro, does he have the power too? Like, why is he like trying to?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, dude, I feel like someone in here has the power, but I'm like, that can't. I don't want that to be the case.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be the case.
I don't want that to be the case either, because I feel like when he goes into the future, he doesn't know what actions he took, which is very interesting that he doesn't remember that at all. But he'll remember if someone like tells him about it per se. So he needs to have somebody fill him in when he come back. But yeah, just because like we'll get to the last episode, but that comes back around in the last episode because he doesn't know everything that happens. So he's just like trying to put it together like, oh shit, like, oh, everything worked out. But yeah, when she gets murdered, bro, me and Jazz are just like, no fucking way. And we were just thinking like maybe it would be something else. Like I thought she might not like him or something like that. Like, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was a crazy episode.
That was wild. But like, yeah, but then the Bloody Halloween.
Yeah.
That whole thing was just dragging. It fucking dragged on forever. And the worst part is that like what was happening was fine. But Takemichi did nothing. Like the only thing he did was just like yell out people's names as it was happening.
That's what I'm saying. There were so many times where I'm like, bro, he's gonna get stabbed or whatever. Like, be on this man's like ass. There were so many times that me and Jazz are like, bro, you are not on your shit. Like, you are letting your guard down. Like the first time when they have to save Draken, and it's literally August 3rd, and it's like, bro, why are you trying to enjoy? He's like, I'm gonna enjoy myself today, and then. Like, it's August 3rd. Make sure this nigga makes it out on August 3rd, bro. Like, you didn't completely avoid the event. And then Draken gets his ass, like, well, he doesn't get whooped up, but, like, I mean, he pretty much does. He gets, like, stabbed and shit.
Yeah. That boy got his whole kidney removed and sliced up. I don't know. That was fucked up. I'm like, damn, he was on the ground just like
leaking, bro.
I'm like, yo, this dude is dead. That's a wrap.
You know, it was a really funny scene. when Takemichi like choked out, he gets stabbed in the hand, and then he chokes out Kiyomasa.
Oh yeah. Like this dude is a tank.
Yeah, bro. Not even just that.
Tank.
It's the fact that he knocks him out, and like Takemichi's the only person there that can defend because it's him, Emma, and what's her name? Tachibana.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
What is her name?
Emily?
Not Emily. No,
I thought that wasn't Emily. That was Emily.
No, Emma. Emma is the blonde girl. What
Emma?
is Hinata? That's her first name. Hinata. I can't believe I forgot that. Hina. They don't even call her Hinata. But anyways, when he chokes that guy out and he's like all beat up and stuff, and the nigga's like, okay. Like afterwards, because he thought like, all right, that's it. Like I beat your boss. And he thought them niggas gonna be like, nah. Like that's real life, bro. That's real life.
They was like, no, you're right.
Like, no, you about to run that shit. Like, and I was like, oh snap. But then like it's even funnier because his homies come in and like save him, but like not really. They just took the ass whipping for him.
Yeah.
that shit was crazy.
Homie came out the bush and it was like they was ready to throw hands. They was like, ah.
And then like the next scene they all getting stomped on. It's like been minutes. It's been like minutes later. I like that because it's like Emo Shonen is just like, all right, the character, this is when he about to get his, and he kind of does get his like, little shine and stuff like that. He chokes out his bully. But yeah, that scene was funny to me because they were getting snuffed out.
Wow. Yeah, that was a wild scene. But I know you kept messaging me about it, about how unpredictable the anime is.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And yeah, I feel like you can't really tell what's gonna happen. Despite the time travel, right? Aspect of the plot. So that was one reason why I really liked it because I was just like, yo, I have no clue what's about to happen. Like,
it's
I'm
like
you really invested.
You really don't know because like when he goes back into the future, there's always that he doesn't know what, like I was thinking about this too, and it came into play. Like, what if he goes back to the future and he doesn't know Naota because he's like with Tomon, you know what I mean, the entire time, and that shit came back. It literally came back in the future, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And that was like the main thing for me. It was just like every time you went back to the future, you just don't know what you're gonna get. And that last time, bro, everything was like completely different. And you're just like, I did like his look in the last episode though. He kind of had Baji's like hairstyle a little bit.
That was really
not
funny.
even Baji. His little homie that he ran with in the beginning of the show, the dude with the black hair had slick back who was talking shit to.
I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Yeah, this dude popping on.
Right, but no,
that name Slipback.
But even with that, you still don't know what's going on. Well, like what's going to happen next. It's not a very predictable like show. It's not like it's not your standard shonen.
Yeah, that's wild because like they be doing some wild ass shit. Like.
Every single one of these kids got Black Air Force energy. Like they do not play like Mikey. Like it is a little comical because he is like the very short character who's like the brute. He is the what's his name from AOT?
Eren Yeager.
No, not Eren Yeager. You smell like a baka. No, what the hell is his name? Short dude there, Levi. Yeah, Levi.
Oh
yeah. Mikey is the Levi of the show. He never loses. I will say like the violence in the show was, I think it was a little more graphic just because it's like realistic. Like with Jujutsu Kaisen, someone getting their arm cut off is like,
it's just like
they fight demons, whatever.
But here like, I'm like, damn. Oh.
Yeah, like when niggas when Baji got stabbed the first time. I was like, oh no. And he's like, it's just a cut. I was like, that wasn't just a cut.
I was like, head ass.
I was like, there's no way. It's just a cut.
But I didn't know like that'd be like, I thought that would be like, okay, it's just a cut. Like, okay, like he might be okay.
Right.
Like like maybe he's fine. Nope. Kills himself.
And he does it, and like I understand why he does it, but it's still wild. It's like, bro,
that's wild.
It's like, did you know you were gonna die? Like,
that's true Japanese shit too. That's some
nobody doing that shit
in America.
Hey, you didn't kill me. Maybe he could have survived. And he was just like, you know what? And I'm like, why would you do that? You could have just survived and have him just, repent or whatever. Well, let's talk about. I mean, there's more stuff to talk about in the story, but I didn't ask you earlier. Who's your favorite character?
My favorite character, I kind of like Draken. Actually, I like Draken. He's he doesn't really shine out too much. I think he has like some early fights,
Yeah,
but that's
that's
like
pretty much it. They
that's
just
pretty
during
much
his
it.
like,
But he just has like this crazy background of like living in a like being brought up in a brothel,
yeah.
and his like tattoo on his head.
Oh yeah, when he
Like,
got the tattoo, dude's like, "You're gonna be a shitty ass adult." Right after he gets a tattoo, I was like, "That's hilarious." But no, he is like very like even like how Takemichi say like he just comes off like not just his character appearance, like he is super tall, so that gives a little validation to like his age or whatever. But he does come off like he's a little bit older than everyone else. Like he has
yeah,
like that wisdom, and
because
even
he
when
had
he
to mature without any parents,
yeah,
and brought up in a brothel. Yeah, you got to be a little bit more mature in that environment.
it's funny to think that Mikey also like has parents in a home because he literally lives at home with his sister. So you assume that they live with their parents. So it's kind of weird that Mikey is like doing this like it's like, are you kind of privileged? No, just I don't know. It's
I
like,
don't know.
do you come from a privileged background?
These kids, where are their parents?
No, like for real. Like when they show Takemichi in his room one time, I'm like, where's your parents are asking why you always beat up like that, bro? Because he like, especially after when he asked Kiyomasa, like, bro, do you know who Draken or can you introduce me to Draken or Mikey? And he turns around like, you know what? Go get my bat. And he gets his ass whooped. I'm like, my parents would be asking me hella questions if I came home limping with a knot rolled over my eye. Like
Almost definitely.
But yeah, no. For me, my favorite character I think was Chifuyu. He was the Baji's second in command.
I didn't think he'd be like. I didn't think he'd have a huge role, and then
especially
he was
with
introduced.
yeah, like
get his ass beat.
With how he was introduced, I was like, damn, they just gonna get rid of the vice captain like that, and then like the next day, it's like, yo, like
I'm like, what the fuck?
But I liked him because he believed in Baji, and
yeah,
even though Baji was like at a certain point, you're like, damn, Baji really did trade on him. But then it comes around like, oh, I guess he didn't. Like he was really trying to get Kisaki. Kisaki is a bastard, bro.
Yeah.
And
yeah, the main villain. Yeah, Kisaki Teta.
It's like no matter what he does in the past, he somehow gets around it. And it kind of is like they hinted at like now he has some weird fixation on Takemichi because he was like, you know, like, I mean, this is the biggest spoiler. He fucking blows his brains out after, you know, going back into the past. He's like, you know, goodbye, my hero.
Brains.
Yeah, he's gonna shoot him in the face. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what happened. You know, somebody could have shot him instead.
I mean, that's that.
But yeah, I did not expect Chifuyu to get shot like that. When that happened, I was like,
yeah, I was like, damn.
When Kisaki shot what's his face in the leg, and he was experiencing that gunshot for the first time, he was just like screaming. I was like, oh, this is too real. I was like, this is not how the season is about to end.
Dude, I was so upset because I was like, yo, that's how it is. Like with a black screen and the gunshot, yo, that's a cliffhanger.
Just
holy shit,
there's
dude.
so much in that. Like I knew it was a setup when they showed the scene with
I was like, dude, I called that shit. I was like, yo, that shit is poison.
Yeah, I thought it was poison. They're gonna die, but he wanted to interrogate them and stuff like that. And Kisaki was right. Chifuyu was definitely talking to the police. But it was just like that whole episode was cool because you think that he like fixed everything and like you see like, oh, his homies are a part of the gang. He's like, you know,
and we don't know if Hina's still alive.
We don't even know that.
Yeah. So it's just there's a lot of things that just needed to like at least let us know what was going on. You know, at least let us know.
What's his face was definitely lucky though because he didn't have Naoto to fill him in. But Chifuyu kind of like served that purpose. And I was like, that's one gripe I had. I was just like, oh, come on. He really, he gonna tell him everything that happened, like all the pertinent details that he needs before he dies without knowing that this kid has the power to go back and forth in time. I was like, that's a little convenient, but I was like, that's a small gripe. I'm not gonna hold you to it. But the fact he's like, hey, look, so this is all that happened. Like Mikey disappeared, Draken was executed.
I mean, you kind of need one of those characters. Yeah, I feel like you kind of need one of those characters. But like as we see now, like we don't like at the end of the episode or at the end of the season, he doesn't get filled in. He has to use context clues on like who are these people?
Yeah,
why are they here? Now it seems to be like a whole like they're moving into like a legal organization.
Yeah, they're like corporate as fuck,
but doing illegal shit.
Yeah,
like doing some shady shit. So
they have a front essentially now. They're not just like a gang, and they're not a motorcycle gang animoreToo, which is like funny.
Yeah. They ain't cars now. They got chauffeurs.
Yeah, chauffeurs and shit.
Can I smoke in the car? I was dying laughing.
How did you feel about the fact that they use Akun again, bro? When he sees Akun after getting killed by after the 2 incidents,
I was like, that really hurt because I was like, I saw Hina dying, and I was like, oh, no, Akun, no.
When I saw that, and then when he sees him the next time when he's in the world, he's just like, at first he's a little weirded out. I was like, bro, but then he's like, all right, but he gets coerced into it like both times, which is right.
That's wow. Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, it's something he had to do.
Yeah, I don't think they said it. Yeah, it's funny that they're targeting. I thought there was like a bigger conspiracy, like I said earlier with another person who has the power, but it was just that's Kisaki just killing everyone close to Mikey to kind of draw him out.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard. It's like it's a battle between time travel and wits. Yeah, which is. It's really hard if one guy is really fucking clever and you're kind of stupid, but like you can time travel. Well, so it's like
let's talk about the last lines that Kisaki said to Hanagaki, because that like alludes to a lot. Because the first thing he says when Hanagaki's just crying and he's like, "What are you?"
Yeah, what are you? Yeah,
and you're like, "What are you?" It's like, oh, you have an inkling that this nigga is like different, because like you know that he acts differently sometimes, but then he acts differently another time. And whatnot, and maybe he like drew the link, like, you know, when he's like acting kind of dumb, something's off. But when he said that, and then he was like, you know, my hero and stuff like that, it kind of seems like the fixation that Kisaki has on Mikey in the beginning of the show, it kind of shifts to Hanagaki, because Hanagaki is like, you know, he's doing like some pretty bold things, and to be able to like say how you feel out loud in front of a bunch of people takes a lot of guts, like back in the day, like when you're in middle school. So I think that kind of like stood out to him, and I kind of feel like because he was like kind of a nerd, and he, you know, like how he got his like uproots, he was a nerd and he found somebody that was like a super strong person. He's like, look, just follow my plans, I got us, pretty much. I like that it kind of just shows like maybe he wasn't lying when he was talking to Hanagaki and Chiafu, like, you know, like I feel like it was a half truth, like the part that he admitted that he lied to, that was the only lie out of that entire thing. You know what I mean? Because he kind of does seem like a little bit different in the future. Seems like a little less evil, kind of, until that point.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe he has to keep up appearances, really. But it's a wild ride. I guess some final notes. I do think it's really funny when something happened, like maybe it was like when he's going back to the present time, and then like he has to get like young Naoto's fucking hand, he has to shake his hand, and he's just like what are we doing right now? Like, he just has like this face like I guess. Like, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh wow, I'm so stupid. Yeah, but like every time that they do that, they're like looking at him like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, he's like what
when he's gonna go back to the future the last time, and he comes up and he's like looking at Hina, and he's like, he gives her the essentially like when he's shaking his hand, and then like he clearly switches personality, so it's like I don't know, because I feel like she's gonna notice that and say something like, bro, what's wrong with you, man? Like, you different. Because she already points out, like, yo, you seem kind of like older Takamichi here. And then, like, but I thought they were going to run with that a little bit more. Maybe they'll bring it up later on. I feel like someone has to figure it out. I mean, Akun figured it out. He's like, bro, you can go back into the past, right? And when he said that, I was like, how do you figure that out?
But it was a good time.
Yeah.
It was a good time. Any final words for you?
This is a classic. It's a classic
I think
already.
it might be. I might be.
I definitely
think it might be.
feel like this is a good anime. This is like an FMA or AOT, like an introductory anime. Like this is a
Yeah.
And clearly Jiraiya feels the same way.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, no. I feel like this is a good introductory anime. If you're trying to get anyone to anime, just show them this. It has everything, and it's still relatable, even though there's all the science fiction-y stuff in it. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's something that like I tell people like who's like newer in anime, like this is something, or I'm just telling really anybody, I'm like, yo, y'all gotta watch Tokyo Revengers. If y'all not watching it, y'all slacking. And that's that. And I've already been seeing people we saw people at BlurredCon cosplay as Draken. I saw Mikey at Anime Magic. Like people know that this is fire. And so we gotta wait till hopefully next year. Hopefully can we get something next year, maybe? Come on.
I do want to say one last thing about Kisaki real quick. I noticed that he was light skinned and dark skinned in certain parts of the anime.
Yeah, I did notice that shit too. I was like, what? Like this dude got rid of his tan?
At first I thought this was some racist shit. Like they were just like showing like, oh look, he evil, and then like in the future he's like a good guy. But then I looked into it. It's like an actual style that people had back in the day. I forget what it was called.
But it's like weird.
Gyaru or something like that?
Gyaru.
Yeah. Gyaru.
It's but it's weird for a guy to have that, and then knowing who Kisaki is.
I feel like he was just trying to stand out and be like a little be like a little thuggish because like he wears like gold and stuff like that.
Yeah. The gold rim glasses and shit, but that's about all we got for this week, y'all. I really appreciate y'all for listening. Go ahead and tell people where they can find you at Jacuz. All right, Jacuz can be found at j.c.u.z.
2 years, but anyways,
it's 2 years. I thought it was just one.
Oh, is it one? I don't even know. I haven't been on Instagram in a minute, bro. My bad.
Oh my lord. And then as for me, y'all can find me on twitch.tv/ShoryukenPizza, streaming 4 days a week now. And we're pushing out content to YouTube. Yes, we are on YouTube right now. So if you're watching this right now live, y'all are special. But if you're watching this sometime in the future, you're still special. Yeah. Other than that, thank y'all so much for coming through. Really appreciate it. See y'all next time on the mountain.
The Geek Mountain.
Peace, y'all. Great. And we're done recording.